Hello and welcome to Talk Sport on Global Television. I am Anthony Momodo, the King of Sport, and we're ready to unleash the big stories making the rounds. And Odi Samuel playing from the left wing of today's edition. Yesterday was amazing.
Yeah, you're all dressed up looking like a Manchester United fan. Yes, yesterday was amazing for Manchester United. You managed to get a win, so I'm happy for you guys.
Did you say?
You managed, I said. So I'm happy.
How many?
I'm
what
happy
was the
for.
score? What was the score?
Okay, the record says I think 4-2. So
You don't manage when you win 4-2.
well, it's an amazing day. Good morning, viewers. It's amazing. We're about to bring you so much top stories from the world of sport, and we expect you to sit down and join us on this train.
All right, yes, like Udi has said, we'll be giving you big stories making the rounds, not just football, but basketball and other sports in between, but like we usually will do, home sweet home. So we're starting from home stories, and we're beginning from one player who was the difference in the 34th edition of the African Cup of Nations. His name, Ademola Lookman, is in the news this morning. The big story says that Lookman came off the bench in the 70th minute before he scored his team's third goal 4 minutes into stoppage time. It needed VAR intervention and some wait before the goal was allowed after the assistant referee had initially ruled it off for offside. He then made an assist for his team to widen the margin. Also, in additional time, Lookman's club will now, talking about Atalanta, will now take on Juventus on May 15 in the Coppa Italia final. That's amazing to see Lookman not just doing it for the Super Eagles, but doing it for his club side, Atlanta. And this tells you that he's going to be very key for whoever is going to become the Super Eagles coach and Nigeria's quest to be at the 2026 World Cup.
Yes, like it's going to be very, very important for the next Super Eagles coach, given the fact that NFF are still keeping us on the edge and we're all waiting. So it's going to be very important because for the coach to be able to see the whole potentials that these guys have and then see how much they are bringing to the table, to their club side. So he came in as a super sub and then he performed what a super sub would do, getting a goal and then getting an assist. So it's amazing. I'm happy that he's getting to the finals and hopefully they get to secure the win and then maybe win the trophy against Juventus.
All right, they're going to be facing the Old Lady of Turin, Juventus, in the Coppa Italia final, and that's going to be a very big match for the man called Ademola Lookman. We wish him the very best. From Ademola Lookman, let's go to another Super Eagles player who is in the news this morning. His name, Wilfred Ndidi, is in the news. Let's let you know that Ndidi, who is 27 years old, will be a free agent at the end of the season and will work out on Leicester City without attracting any transfer fee. Ndidi is really looking at joining the club in the Premier League top 6 in the summer. Otherwise, he will move abroad where he has other offers. A source informed TalkSport it is understood several top clubs in Europe also interested in signing him. The defensive midfielder has enjoyed a more attacking role this season in the English Championship with Leicester, so much that he has posted his most prolific campaign in his career despite another battle with injury. He has 4 goals in the Championship and 2 in the League Cup. In his second season in 2015-2016 in Belgium with Genk, he scored 4 goals. He now looks set to help Leicester make a prompt return to the Premier League after relegation last season. They are 4 points clear at the top of the standings with 2 rounds of matches to the end of the regular season. Meanwhile, victory this weekend at Preston will guarantee them automatic promotion back to the English top flight. And looking at Ndidi, if Leicester qualifies, which most likely they're going to do, and against Preston, we're sure bet they're going to get all needed 3 points and qualify. Should he be leaving Leicester if any other top EPL team doesn't come for him? Wouldn't it be better to stay in Leicester, have a great season ahead, and probably Manchester United, who had an eye for him before now, might decide to go for him?
Yes.
Or any other big team?
True, I know he's eyeing big teams because Ndidi, Wilfred Ndidi has done it well. He helped Leicester win the EPL when they did, and then also now he's doing it again for them to be able to come back into the Premiership. So they had all this back and forth during his injury, and then he was totally missed during his injury period. So now, if his deal finishes or comes to an end, the contract comes to an end, and then he wants maybe an extension of contract, I would feel he should stay more. He should stay put, given the fact that he wants top big six teams in England to to play, for him to play. So I would advise maybe he stays back a bit for maybe one more season and then see what happens instead of getting himself shipped over to Europe.
What team do you think will fit in the best amongst the top 6 teams? We're talking about the top big teams there.
I think he'll fit in well in Manchester United. He can fit in well with Chelsea. He can also fit in with West Ham, Man City as well. So these are the teams that I think he can fit in. But with the challenge that Chelsea and Manchester United are facing right now, I think he's going to fit in properly because one, in the midfield, Chelsea have a whole lot of problems because they don't have people.
You ignored Arsenal.
Well, Arsenal too, he's going to fit in too in Arsenal, but right now I don't see if
he's going to have the space there.
If he's going to have the space there because Declan Rice is there, we all know how the Arsenal midfield is, the English, Danny White, all of them, they're all there. So I don't see him, getting a place there. But where I see him getting a place is, I see him getting a place in Chelsea, I see him getting a place in Manchester United, I also see him getting a place even in Newcastle and West Ham.
Newcastle is another team.
Yes, so I see him getting, even Tottenham City, Tottenham Spurs, so I see him getting his place there because most of these clubs, they are having challenges in their midfield. They mostly have people. Yes, they mostly have people who can move with the ball, but they don't have a holding four. Now, Wilfred Ndidi have showed that he can be able to play as a holding four and also play as an attack. So it's going to be a plus for any club that would want to sign him at this point.
All right, let's see how this pans out. Talking about Wilfred Ndidi in the coming days, would he be able to get a very big club is what we're going to be looking at in the coming days. Let's run into a very, very interesting match played out yesterday. Before we take the story, it's okay, but well, let's just give you the story that Jurgen Klopp apologized for Liverpool's abject performance in their first Merseyside derby defeat at Goodison Park since 2010, with Captain Virgil van Dijk saying Reds players need to take a look in the mirror. Everton were deserved the winners in the complete performance after goals from Gerrard Braithwaite and Dominic Calvert-Lewin gave them a significant step towards safety while putting a dagger into the Liverpool's title hopes. Everton boss Sean Dyche, meanwhile, was delighted with his team's display. One of the best displays of the trophies and the old school trophies who support us. He said, thanks. Was a very terrific performance. Let's look at, is this a final, since they lost that game to Atlanta in the Europa League, things have not been the same for Liverpool. Sure. What do you think is happening? Do you think finally Jurgen Klopp, probably he's truly tired of the team, and the team probably is now losing focus because they know, besides, he's even leaving us, so it's beginning to sink in.
I think it's beginning to sink in, but it's sinking in a negative light, I feel, because we know what Liverpool can do on the pitch. And then since that loss from Atlanta, it's been like, it looks as if they kept sinking and sinking and sinking, they're struggling to, come out, maybe recover from that loss. Unlike Liverpool, that we know if they play a draw with any team, then the next weekend, any other team that
they're going to win.
They are sure going to win. But now they're coming from a loss and then getting a loss again. So I don't know what's really happening in the dressing room, but they need to find a way out of it, because now I think it's looking as if their Premiership title winning, because they have potentials to win it, but with this loss now that they suffered last night, I don't see how possible that is going to be. But looking at the other side, the fact that Jurgen Klopp is leaving doesn't mean the whole team should throw into towel and then just relax. Okay, he's going, and then we'll just, go back to the way we were before he came in and then struggle to build. Liverpool need to find a way to make it work with or without Jurgen Klopp. They need to find a way to start winning games and then perform at that high level that they are performing. I think they just need to do some kind of work with him themselves.
Can we say Everton was actually probably they played better and not make it look like Liverpool were just bad and that's why they lost, but the fact that Everton was truly better than Liverpool on that night, and do we give kudos to the Turfies?
Yes, we give kudos to them because they were obviously better, because in game of football there is no luck. A better team wins. If you do the work, if you play right, if you have good tactics, your coach has good formations and good plays mapped out for you guys, obviously you win if the opposition side doesn't have an answer. As at last night, Liverpool doesn't have an answer to everything that Everton was bringing to them. And when they tried creating chances, but they were very, very strong on the defensive end. They locked Mohamed Salah, and then there was not much the attackers could do. So when they had the opportunity, when the Everton guys had the opportunity, they took it and then they scored. So I'm excited for them for the win that they got, but Liverpool needs to do better.
All right, Liverpool needs to do better. Let's give you the next big stories. Let's still talking about how bad Liverpool played. One of their legend, Jimmy Carragher, has admitted Liverpool's Premier League title hopes are over following the unacceptable display in their Merseyside derby defeat against Everton. Jurgen Klopp's side were beaten 2-0 at Goodison Park on Wednesday night with Gerrard Braithwaite and Dominic Calvert-Lewin on target for the host. Carragher told Sky Sport that his former side's title hopes have been ended by their rivals, with Liverpool 3 points behind. Meanwhile, Arsenal, with 4 matches remaining this season, the former Liverpool captain claimed Liverpool's performance at Goodison Park was unacceptable in the final weeks of the title race. The Reds have stumbled in recent weeks with a damaging 2-2 draw at Manchester United, 1-0 home defeat against Crystal Palace, having already dented their title hopes. Liverpool also crashed out of the Europa League to Atlanta, with the club's final weeks in charge, threatening to peter out. Meanwhile, Carragher highlighted Mo Salah's struggles in recent weeks as a factor, admitting the club will be forced to consider his future as he enters the final year of his contract and with a new manager set to join the club. And is it fair putting the burden on Mo Salah? And does this prove that when Mo Salah is not playing, Liverpool is not kicking?
That's just what it is, because Mo Salah is like the brain wire. When Sadio Mane was in Liverpool,
we thought Sadio Mane was
mostly it was even Sadio Mane that was the king.
Was doing the playing,
he was doing the playing and feeding
Salah to score the goals.
You get so that now since he left, we've not. Let's just be honest here. We've not been seeing more of Salah in Liverpool, because the playing pattern was totally changed, because most of the times the ball comes through Mane and then it gets to Salah, and then Salah gets to finish the job and then score. But now he's not performing at that level because the ball doesn't come to him at the same pace.
He has to work
harder to get the ball. Sometimes he needs to even drive the ball himself without nobody helping out from the midfield to get him the pass that he would need, that killer pass that he would need to just net the goal. So now his contract is coming to an end, so there might be a chance that they might not renew it, or they might renew it, or if he's probably tired, he might want to a change, maybe move to another club, maybe go to Europe or go to Spain and play football.
All right, let's see how that pans out. But Liverpool not finding it easy at all. But we're still talking Liverpool matter this morning. A lot of Liverpool news, and they're in search of a new coach. And Liverpool are closing in on Arne Slot as they work on a deal with Feyenoord to make him the next manager. Anfield officials connected with the Dutch champions on Wednesday with a first offer of a compensation for the 49-year-old who does not have a release clause in his contract. It is expected that a fee of more than £10 million will be required to land a Slot, who will look to bring a number of his staff with him, including assistant Spike Hushoff, his assistant. The situation is developing quickly, and talks to bring Slot to Anfield could even be concluded before the weekend. May Sport reported on Tuesday that how Slot had emerged as Liverpool's preferred candidate to take over from Jurgen Klopp, who has 4 games left at the club. Do you think Liverpool are not being in too much hurry to replace Jurgen Klopp? Because initially we knew that Ruben Amorim was the preferred candidate who just won for Sporting Lisbon. And fast forward, they had Xabi Alonso to Amorim. Now suddenly we've got a Slot in the middle.
So now, I don't think they are so much in a hurry because they want a coach that would come and then get familiarized with the team's philosophy and then just start working with the players.
The players,
yeah,
yes.
off the season, off season. So I think that's one thing they want to do. They don't want to use this fire brigade approach. But now, them, finally settling for slots. Probably the meeting that they had with Adam Murray did not play out well. So I feel they are going to reach an agreement with Mr. Slot. And now Mr. Slot also wants to come in with his own coaching crew, or it's going to be new, it's going to be different. So it's also going to take time. I feel there will be like a bit of chemistry will be out for some weeks and for some months when totally new guys just come into the picture and just want to start coaching. I feel they will have a little bit of a backlash, but afterwards, if he's who he say he is or who they feel he is, then Liverpool should get back to their winning ways.
Do you see some players leaving?
I think so. Like someone like Mo Salah, I see Mo Salah might be leaving maybe at the end of his contract. Van Dijk, I don't think he might leave, but I have a feeling that Mo Salah might want to leave after his contract.
All right, let's see what's going to happen. Let's take you quickly. Let's take you to Spain, where every time when it rains in Spain, it pours. The big story here says Barcelona manager Xabi Alonso has sensational U-turned on his decision to leave the club at the end of the season and will now continue in his role, according to reports. The Spaniard had previously rejected calls to change his mind, but has now decided to extend his stay after a meeting with the club's directors. Positive discussions with Barcelona president Joan Laporta has resulted in Xavi accepting the La Liga side's proposal and will continue to operate as head coach, as reported by Fabrizio Romano. Barcelona manager Xavi has sensationally returned his decision. For you, did you see this coming?
Well, I wouldn't say I saw it coming, but they made mention of a proposal, so probably they have something better that they had to offer him, and maybe they reached an agreement. Talking about something better, maybe the money, the bag is now probably bigger, and then maybe they've given him some kind of assurance that yes,
he's not going to be fired.
You'll not be fired,
regardless of the performance.
Maybe he's not going to be fired regardless of the performance, and maybe he would have the right to handpick or get any other players that he would need by himself without the interference of the board to help him build the team to the standard he wants to, and then help him win matches. So I think maybe I feel that's one of the reasons, those are one of the things that coaches will consider before wanting to, when they've made their mind to leave, and then they might just end up changing their mind to stay. So I'm guessing that's one of the reasons why he decided to stay back.
Don't you think it's a risk Xavi is taking, knowing fully well that somewhere along the line the players were not playing up to scratch and it looked like they were not even playing for him at a point? Mm-hmm. Do you think it's worth the risk, him staying put after telling his players he's leaving, and now he's staying put? Do you think somewhere along the line this might affect the trust between the player and the coach? Because somewhere along the line, if he ever talks about leaving again or says that trust is already broken.
Yeah, like now, currently, I would say I think he's taking a business decision at this point to want to stay, but the fact that he has already told his players that he was going to leave, maybe they lobbied him, maybe lobbied the directors to make him stay, right? But I would say he should have more to give at this point, because even if they probably had an agreement of maybe you won't be fired or something, but the most important thing right now is for him to have a very good relationship with his players. When he has that relationship with his players, they will all bring in their A games, and they'll find a way to make it all work together. So the bottom line is Xabi Alonso should have something new that he's bringing to the table. So if you have something new or something up your sleeves that other teams have not seen in the coming season, you should use them, apply them, so that Barcelona would be those top contenders that they've always been, and trashing every team 6 or 7-0 whenever they meet them.
All right, it's going to be a tough one for Barcelona, because it means they're going to enforce their team, but we'll get to see if they will be able to take Real Madrid out of the top of the La Liga, especially when this season the Madrid side is already top, running away with the title. All right, let's talk about referees now. We've got a big story concerning Chief Webb. Yes, Talking about the referee Webb, Howard Webb is in the news this morning. Referees chief Howard Webb will hold peace talks with Nottingham Forest owners this week, at which the VAR audio of their 3 penalty appeals in Sunday's controversial defeat at Everton will be played to the club. Forest requested access to referee Anthony Taylor's conversations with VAR Stuart Atwell earlier this week after criticizing the latter's appointment for the game at Goodison Park on the grounds that he is a Luton fan, with referee body PGMOL happy to oblige. All right, this should be a very tough talk between Howard Webb and Nottingham Forest. How key is that audio? And would you say the referees on their own part have not been fair?
You know, most of the times, you know, these are humans and nobody's perfect, right? Sometimes these referees make some certain mistakes that, you know, we all tend to see, but at the end of the day, we just wonder why they don't give those calls. Yeah. So maybe this audio now is going to be pointing to the right direction where all of those things always happen, and then a solution will be found. So since Nottingham Forest were able to secure this, other teams too will be looking to like get involved to know, okay, if something like this is happening, that means we should find a way out of it. So since they are listening now, since they were involved in the conversation, they will be able to have more understanding about what really is happening, and then they will find a way around it, how to, you know, get their calls right. So referees now, this is a call for them to be on the edge, that is, be on their toes and do their job right, because the fact that one team has been able to secure and gotten listen of the audio conversation, other teams too would push for something like that. So it boils down to the referees now being held accountable for every kind of calls that they give and the ones they don't give. So I think this is pointing towards the right direction. So good officiating will happen both home and away.
But some people have said this meeting might lead to some, the referee, Howard Webb and his men, being compromised, because once they have this meeting with Nottingham Forest, for every game Nottingham Forest is going to be involved with, that there seem to going to be this the referees being a little bit cautious because of what has played out, and that might give Nottingham Forest some bit of advantage going forward.
No, in this case, now this is where the level of professionalism come in. That's not how I expect them to be, you know, favorable to Nottingham Forest after this. Yes, you're just going to like make the right calls. If you make the right calls, you shouldn't have any cost to like, okay, jitter around if the players or the management team or the coaches are coming at you. Yes, you're like, okay, this was what happened and this is the call. So I'm giving this call and then standing on it. So if that kept happening, of course, you know, they wouldn't be under any kind of pressure. The only thing is they are just going to be more under pressure to get to do their job rightly, not under pressure for, you know, favoring Nottingham Forest, yes. All
right, well said. Let's take you to Old Trafford, where the big story said nothing is straightforward for Manchester United at the moment, not holding on to a 3-goal lead against Coventry City and not even beating a Sheffield United team back to the Championship 3 days after their Wembley wobbles almost cost Erik ten Hag's side a place in the FA Cup final. They were at it again last night. Twice they trailed to a club 7-point adrift at the foot of the table with the worst defensive record in the Premier League history. Where would they be without Bruno Fernandes? The United captain pulled his side level at 2-2 and then scored a decisive goal in the 81st minute before setting up a fourth for Rasmus Højlund. That's 8 goals in the 8 games for a man who has been ever present for United, while everyone around him have been dropping like flies. Incredibly, Fernandes has missed a game through injury for the club during an Old Trafford career spanning more than 4 years. All right, Old Trafford yesterday, Man U again conceding and coming back. Is this a guarantee that Ten Hag is going to be sacked? Because it looks like he doesn't know his team.
Yes, you know,
they're not getting it right.
They try to get it. It looks like as if they're getting it right, and then at the other end they start getting it wrong. Like, you know, they do more like the more you look, the less you see. It starts with the fact that, okay, they always take off on a good note. Manchester United always take off on a good note, but maintaining that now, I think that's where the problem is. They have defensive error, and most of those defensive errors, you know, causes them a lot. Bruno Fernandes was like the man yesterday for Manchester United. He was all over the place. When I mean all over the place, he was in the defense, he was in the midfield, he was attacking, he was everywhere. Because this guy is someone that wants to win, and then maybe he's tired of all this back and forth that they kept having, so that they keep having. So at this point now, Erik ten Hag needs to figure out what the problem is with his defense line. Because I think where the problem is now is in the defense line. He needs to find a way to solve his defense line problem before he start looking for maybe getting strikers and all of that. And then when he does that, I think he's going to be in a good place. But now with Sir Jimmy Ratcliffe now, who is a no-nonsense man, if all of this persists, I don't think he will want to carry the same energy into a new season. He might end up firing Erik ten Hag and then employing a coach that would be able to manage the players that he have, work on the defense line, and then when he does that, then I think Erik ten Hag now is going to be out of a job.
All right, Ten Hag might just be leaving Manchester United if this form continues. Let's take you to talk Formula One. After Formula One, we'll go for a very quick break. Formula One will hand out a point to the top 12 finishers in races from next season if controversial revamp is approved on Thursday. It would extend the old way of rewarding 10 top drivers itself, an evolution from a previous scoring system that acknowledged the top 6. It is understood that the leading teams are considering whether to support the move, which is up before the Formula One Commission in Geneva. Let's looking at Formula One. Talking about rankings and scoring of teams is what we're looking at this morning in terms of Formula One. But talking tennis, you have one or two things to say as regards that Formula One issue. Trying to change the pattern of ranking.
Yeah, it's good that they are trying to change it so that it's not going to be just the top 3 or 4 that get recognized. So after the whole work done by the top 10, there should be like maybe a ranking. Though there's a ranking, maybe there should be a certain kind of points that will be awarded who would catapult the next. Who will catapult those riders into the next season, and then with that now they'll be able to work a bit harder to see how much they can get, and then tend to win championships.
All right, in case you're just joining us, you're watching Talk Sport on Global Television. It's time for us to go for a very quick break. When we return from the break, we'll be looking at other issues making the rounds in Formula One. And we've got also tennis waiting in the wings to come to you, and boxing will also make its way. And of course, basketball.
Basketball.
Almost saying table tennis. All right, let's go for a quick break. When we return, Talk Sport continues. Stay with us. All right, Z, thank you for bringing us live. Welcome back from that break. It's time for us to keep talking sport. And we're talking basketball. I couldn't wait to jump into basketball. The playoffs is already on. Just give us a rundown of what's playing out in basketball.
Yeah, so far so good. Basketball is upgoing, and then they've played like the first and second series. That's home and away, home and away. And then now, so far so good. Denver Nuggets are leading the series against Lakers 2-0. So it's against 7 series. So those with the highest win. So if Denver Nuggets get to win 4 straight games, automatically they've advanced into the second stage, and then the Lakers are totally out of it.
Okay,
and then
so those are the scores there we see.
Those are the scores
We've
there.
got Pacers 125 to 108 at Milwaukee Bucks, and we've got the Clippers losing to
Miami Heat.
The Mavericks, 96 and 93.
Yes.
And we've got the Pelicans losing to Thunder by 124 to 92. Boston's Celtic 101 to Miami Heat 111.
Yes.
Then we got Timberwolves 105 to the Phoenix Suns 93. And we've got Pacers, Indiana Pacers, beating the Milwaukee Bucks by 125 to 108. Then Denver Nuggets beat LA Lakers 101 to, oh boy, 99. That looks like an upset. LeBron James, where are you?
He's 40 years old. He's old.
He's been delivering. He's been delivering
truly, but now.
But do you think his age is catching up with him? He's still one of the best in the NBA.
I'm just, throwing shade.
Okay.
But LeBron James is actually LeBron James. You can't take that away from him. He's 39 years old and he's still performing at a very, very high level. So the thing here is the Lakers team, right? They are not ready for Denver Nuggets. There is no how. These are the champions, they're the current NBA champions, right? Yeah. So there is a chance that they can beat them, but they are not acting like it. They are not acting like it. The Denver Nuggets always have answers to whatever the Lakers bring to them. And then that's what's leading to all of this. So now they are top in the series. Denver Nuggets are top in the series with 2-0 lead against the Lakers. And then Timberwolves against winning the series 2-0 up against Phoenix Suns. Bucks and the Pacers are a tie, playing 1-1 in the series. Cleveland leading Orlando Magic 2-0 in the series. Then New York Thunders leading 76ers 2-0 in the series, and Clippers and Mavericks now are in a tie. So the Mavericks now and the Clippers, that's Kyrie Irving now and Lucas Modric are actually fighting so hard, because the first series they lost at home and then they went to Cleveland to be able to secure a win to LA Clippers to be able to secure a win against them. So this is how much it means to these guys. It takes a lot of time for you to get to the playoffs, and not just getting to the playoffs. When you get to the playoffs, you need to work super hard because it's a different ball game. It gets very, very physical. You need to be aggressive. You need to take every chance. Every free throw matters, every mid-range shot matters, every three-point shot matters. And again, defense wins basketball. If you play defense and good offense, automatically you would have the game in your own end. There is not a lot of buckets that were scored, unlike other games, because this is not the regular season, this is the playoff. So the defensive nature of the game has intensified, and all these players are hungry because a lot of them have not won a championship before. Persons like Joel Embiid hasn't won any championship, though he was the MVP of the regular season last year, but now he's gone in to go and win an NBA championship. So the way they are going now, the way the 76ers are going now, I don't think they have questions. They have answers to the young New York Thunder team.
All right, well said there. So basketball at its best. Then let's move on from basketball. Let's give you some Formula One news, where Formula One would hand out points to the top 12 finishers in races from next season if a controversial revamp is approved on Thursday. It would extend the old way of rewarding the top 10 drivers itself, an evolution from a previous scoring system that acknowledged the top 6. It is understood that the leading teams are considering whether to support the move, which is up before the Formula One Commission in Geneva. Though most of them will attend remotely, the proposed move would be needed the approval of Formula One's World Motorsport Council. The idea has been mooted before and discarded. Maybe again, though there is a greater desire to create interest down the field in the World of Championship, in which top 5 teams, Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, and Aston Martin, have dominated. Now we're looking at Formula One trying to change its rules in order to give other teams the chance to come, because we have Aston Martin, Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull dominating for long.
Yeah, for the past like 2 decades.
This
now.
should be good for the sport of Formula One.
Yes, it's very good. It's a welcome development because the sport of Formula One now, they are giving room for every participant to be able to get to that high level. So for the past 2 decades now, it has been Mercedes, Ferrari and McLaren. All of them, they've been the ones, leading the pack and then winning those championships. So now they are creating room. They want to create more opportunities for every other person to be involved in winning. So I think this is a welcome development for them, and hopefully it plays out well for those upcoming teams.
All right, spot on for Formula One. Let's take you quickly to talk some tennis, as Emma Raducanu has accused. Yes, Emma Raducanu was accused of emotionally checking out by her Billie Jean King Cup captain Annemiek Tugvon after her worst display of the year in Madrid. The 21-year-old lost 6-2, 6-2 to Argentinian qualifier Maria Kelly, making 34 unforced errors. 34 unforced errors in a wildly erratic display. After 2 wins in the Billie Jean King Cup and 2 in Stuttgart, this brought the first phase of Raducanu's clay season to a screeching halt, starting from the Billie Jean King Cup. She said, "I haven't stopped." She said, "I was very happy being able to help carry the team in the Billie Jean Cup, and then straight to Stuttgart with no rest, and then straight here." So, like, she's giving reasons already why she had a very bad day at the office. But do you think Raducanu actually, there's too much expectation on her since she won the US Open? The British press have been on her case. Even when she's injured, they're putting pressure to want to know when she's going to come back from injury, and too much pressure on this 20-year-old.
That's the result when you're a star. That's what comes with you being a star, and then this is what you get when all of these pressures are on a player. It takes so much for these players to perform at a certain level, and if they get injured, they also need that amount of time to be able to regroup and then come back. She has been in series. She has been in and out of competition for the past few months, so she has not had enough time to rest and all of that. So we're seeing her losing, and she did not lose to just anybody. She lost to this Argentine, who is also a very amazing tennis player. Yeah. So we should, cut her a slack. She should go, relax, rest, heal properly from her injury. If not because of she being tired and all of that. We know Emma Raducanu, she doesn't make errors like that, not only making 34 unforced even. So it literally shows how tired she is. Despite the fact that she even put up a good fight, but still, she lost to a very amazing Argentine player. So this is something that needs to boil down to her having her own moment and then resting, recovering properly from her injury. And probably she was very tired and then felt she might injure herself the more. That's why she just, had to let it go so she can just go home and rest. But there's a lot of pressure that comes with you winning the US Open.
All right, a lot of pressure, and this pressure tells us we have to go for another quick break. When we return from this break, we'll be taking one more story before we call it a wrap on today's edition of the program Talk Sports. Stay with us. Welcome back, here. We're still talking sport, and we're focusing right now on the MPFL, the Nigerian Premier Professional League. And we know that they've been on break so that Rivers United can catch up with other Premier League club sides due to their continental engagement. And today is the 25th day. It means that there's some matches. On the 28th is when matches will restart for fully. But we've got some games for today.
Yes, we have the Rivers United who will be taking on Katsina United. Rivers United will be home, so obviously, automatically now it's more like a 3 points for them because they've rested a bit, and then with that same momentum that they'll want to fight and get back to the continent, so they would want to secure.
They're playing a very tricky Katsina United that you cannot write off.
Yeah, you can't just write them off, but now they have the momentum. They are home, they have the fans, and then they have, I think they have so much more that they want to give. They want to go back to the continent because I'm sure they are not excited, they are not happy about the level where the kind of work that they put in and then them being crashed out in the semi-finals. So I think they are going to want to like secure the win first and then go back and, you know, continue from where they left off.
All right, so we're wishing Rivers United the very best as the 3 tackles today. And
tomorrow as well, Romeo Stars will be facing on Niger Tornadoes, and then on Saturday, Doma United will be taking on Kwara United. So all of these matches will be coming from this week, starting from today, tomorrow, or through to Sunday. There are a lot of matches that will be coming, not just only in the local league. Even your beloved Bendel Insurance will be playing Heartland of Owerri on Saturday. So what do you think will happen?
Let's look at Bendel Insurance and Heartland of Owerri. Obviously, Bendel Insurance has no business losing that game because we know Heartland at the bottom of the league, the MPFL. So
yes,
that should give them the momentum to get 3 points over Heartland of Owerri. But at the same time, it's football. You can never say never. Just last night, we saw Everton beat Liverpool 2-0. That's a very unexpected result, though we know it's a derby. The Merseyside derby is always unpredictable because both teams, because of bragging right, they will do anything
yes,
to get the needed results. All right, we're also still hoping and waiting for the news to come out from the Glass House talking about the Nigerian Football Federation to announce and tell us who becomes the Super Eagles coach. Already we know that they're angling towards getting a foreign coach, but are you worried that they might just get us another foreign coach we do not know where he's from, an obscure person, and say he's our, because truth be told, Joseph Peseiro was nobody knew him per se when he was dumped on us as the Super Eagles head coach.
True.
And so should we be calling for a protest if the NFF does anything that seems not to suggest that they've given us a quality head coach?
You know, I would say all these delays, I think, is intentional because they've picked out a coach, but I think they're just, withholding that information from the general public because they don't know what the reaction is going to be. Like you said, Joseph Peseiro came out from nowhere. We don't know who he is. He probably was just sitting at home in Portugal, and then he got a call from the NFF, and then boom, he became the Super Eagles coach. Though notwithstanding, he performed to a certain level, but he didn't finish the job. So we wouldn't want the same thing to happen. We want someone that we know, not someone that would come and use, the Super Eagles to boost his or her CV. Yeah. So we want the NFF to get us a very reliable coach, not a foreign. Okay, if you want to get a foreign coach, get us a coach that has workings, that we've seen what he has done.
Yeah.
Yes, we are keeping track of him. Yes, we've seen. Okay,
just like what Liverpool is doing now. They went for a coach that they've seen won the Dutch league, won the Dutch Cup, and so there's something to.
There's a track record to show. So
yeah.
Now, don't just bring us someone that we're like, okay, we don't even know if he has won any league, if he has taken anything to any competition, and then you just come dump him on the Super Eagles, and then you know, the top qualities that we have, you now make them look as if they don't know what they are doing. So that is not what we want for Super Eagles right now. We want a very, very good coach, someone that has done it, not just done it by hearsay, she said. We need someone that has done it, and then there's proof that, yes, you have actually done all of these things. So that is the coach that the NFF should get us at this point, because it's taking way too long. It's almost the end of April now, and then we've not heard anything about that. Qualifiers will still begin, and all this fire brigade approach that the NFF are used to is something the Minister of Sports needs to look into, so that all of that won't be happening, because we can't have qualifiers which is just around the corner, and yet we don't know who the coach is. If they want Finidi just to keep being the Ingram coach, then they should just come out and say that, okay, for now, we are not getting any coach. Mr. Finidi George, who is the assistant coach, will continue doing the job until we are ready to announce who we have found for you guys. So if they're not ready to do that, then they should just, you know, let him be the coach and then continue with the Super Eagles until they decide to find a very good coach who will be able to carry the job of managing the Super Eagles.
All right, so that's where we're going to draw the curtains on today's edition of the program Talk Sport on Global Television. We've been looking at different stories, basketball inclusive, not forgetting tennis, and the world of boxing, and the English Premier League, the matches that were played yesterday, talking about the Merseyside derby between Liverpool and Everton, ended 2-0 in favour of the Turfies, and it means the Liverpool's title hopes is all but gone. So it's remaining Arsenal and Man City who are in the deep running to become champions of the English Premier League. That's how we're going to call it a wrap. My name is Anthony Momodi, saying thank you for joining us on Talk Sports. Final words.
Yes, I'm super excited for today. We had big stories, and later today we'll be watching Manchester City taking on Brighton, who I know Manchester City would win the game and also win the Premiership this season. So Arsenal will remain at number 2 or number 3 on the Premier League table. So that's been said and that's out. I'm happy. I'm going to have a great day, and you all have a great day. Good morning. See you tomorrow.
All right, let's see if his prediction is going to come right. If Arsenal try and prove him wrong, that's all I have to say. My name is Anthony Momodi. Thank you for joining us on Talk Sports.